Hey everyone, today I am doing a video on the remainder of Lake Katherine trails that I have not done a review on, and it is a Pine Ridge Trail and Calico Bush Trail. They're quite scenic, and you start out in the parking lot there that you saw and head to the corner to get to this area. It's a nice hike. It starts out going downhill. You got a lot of hemlocks. You get to an area where you'll have some rock outcroppings as well. You have to watch your footing. Like I said before, the more scenic a hike turns out to be, the more you have to watch where you're stepping. And the famous Lake Katherine is also down this way. Coming up here, you'll be able to hear the waterfalls that where we are heading down to. You get louder as you go. This is an old access road. It just goes down to the lake. After that, it goes to a regular trail, foot trail. You can hear the waterfalls now. I was lucky. This was a really beautiful day in December. Don't get too many sunshining days like this here in Ohio. And it wasn't too cold either. I believe it was in the 50s. Here we are coming up on Lake Katherine. I said in the last video, you can get a permit to put a boat in there, a non-motorized boat. I think they accept up to 6 permits a day, so you got to contact ODNR to find out about those. I've never done that. And right where you go across that earthen dam to the overflow, and we'll be right on top of the waterfalls. I don't know if to call these a natural waterfall, because this gorge wasn't here until they built a dam and dug through the rock to make a path for the water. So maybe a man-made natural waterfall. We'll go with that. Today when I was down there, that lake was so smooth. There was no wind. It was absolutely beautiful. This is about normal amount of water going over. Sometimes there's been a little bit more volume going over, and I've been there when it's been quite a bit less, but I would say this is the average. And some old piece of farm equipment, I'm assuming, is here. Grading equipment, I'm not sure what that was. I do like finding those things in the woods, though. And to get to the bottom of the falls to get photos, it's a little muddy. Certain times of the year more than others, but you gotta be a little careful. But it's worth, it's a good photo op down at the bottom of the falls. Love listening to it too. This preserve has orchids and a diverse spring flora. I've never seen any orchids here. I don't see them very often. Of course, I'm not looking for them. When I have seen them is because somebody else pointed orchids out to me, and they weren't at this park. They were at Mohican, or excuse me, they were in Hawking Hills around Conference Hall. So Lake Katherine Preserve's hours they are open a half hour before sunrise to a half hour after sunset. Pets are not permitted. There are no public restrooms, no permanent public restrooms, I should say. There is, or at least has been for this past year, a porta-john sitting in the parking lot. And they say ticks are common on the preserve. Of course, they're common anywhere anymore, it seems. So once you leave the falls, you get a few rock features like this cliff, sandstone cliff, but we're up on the ridge for the most part until we start heading back down toward the river or the creek. I've been there when there's water has been flowing a little. It's hard to call it a waterfall, but there is some flow going over the ledges. I imagine if you're down here after it's been frozen for a while, it would have some pretty nice ice formations. There is one other trail that I have not been on yet. I have to get down there again, but it was new in 2020. It's called Lakeview Trail, and it's a 1.1 mile loop. So with all the trails put together, there's about 7 miles worth of hiking. I've been down here in the summer and in the fall and winter, and it's pleasant hiking all the time throughout the year. I've not been down here in the spring. I imagine the spring flowers would be quite plentiful though. But even in the summer, when it's hot, you're mostly under a canopy of trees, so it's quite comfortable. Now we're down closer to the creek. And we start to head back into some rock outcroppings. Again, it's colorful. At least there is color in the landscape year round here with all the moss, ferns, lichen, that grows on the some of the rock face. You always have a tendency to miss some of these cliffs sometimes because they're set off the trail, and in the summertime they're a little bit harder to see because you got all these trees have leaves on them, of course. So make sure you check your surroundings as you're walking by. Sometimes you'll find that you're passing something up, some nice scenery that you didn't even know was there. I told some friends before that I wouldn't mind finding a put-in and takeout spot for a kayak on this creek, but there is so much down trees, it would probably be quite a difficult route. This I thought was a trail, a human trail for the park, but it turned out it was, when I looked at it and where it came from and where it went to, assuming it is beaver, as it basically is mud packed on the leaves. And I'll follow it back. It goes right into the creek, comes up a muddy embankment. Again, I've never actually seen a beaver in this area, but there are plenty of signs of them around. This is a well-maintained park. They've got, all the bridges are well kept. The upkeep on them is great. On this one, they've got that mesh metal that gives you traction on slippery days. This waterway here, I believe, is coming out of the lake from the bottom of the waterfalls. So we're downstream of that. And we're heading back uphill. And we'll catch up with the Calico Bush Trail here on our right. If we stayed on straight ahead, we would stay on the Pine Ridge Trail. But we're not doing that today. Now this trail is only about a half mile long, but it's very scenic. I wouldn't say we're on the ridge, but we're definitely near the top, because you got some pretty steep hills on your one side, and you got some rock cliffs on the other side. And the rock outcroppings here aren't like they are earlier in the park where they had big, solid rock walls of sandstone. Here they got broken up pieces, big pieces, albeit, but still broken up. The Pine Ridge Trail, which we were on we started out on today, is listed as 2 miles in length. There's that moss growing on those logs. Really makes it for other worldly or almost rainforest-like. We just passed up a wood post that had a number 5 on it. And you'll see those on the Calico. Here's another one on the right, real low. I do not know what those numbers are correlating to. I'm assuming there used to be a map that had waypoints on them, and they were designating, sandstone or oak tree or some feature that they had some information about, but I've not found a map. Those are probably out of date. And here's another one coming up on the right, has an angle. It looked like it was number 9 or 8. So if anyone knows what those signify, and here's another one on the left. If anyone knows what those are signifying, or if there's still some information to be found, let me know. I'm interested. The closer we get back to the starting point, we'll be able to hear waterfalls getting louder and louder as we go. Trails are very easy to follow, even more so in person than how the video shows them. There are no blazes. It's just worn out area. And every now and then when you come to a junction, they have a name and an arrow pointing which direction you need to go. So we're almost back to the Pine Ridge Trail. And we'll head back up to the parking lot. Now the parking lot has about 21 spaces, car parking spots in it, and also the porta-john that I told you about. And I almost forgot this. I do not know what this wood structure is. I talked to a ranger that was there that day, and he said he had no idea. They inherited it when they got the land. They use it for storage now, and you'll see it when you're coming and leaving the park. It's right along the roadway. Too big to be a corn crib. Kind of looks like a fort, just the way it's styled. If anyone has any real information on what this used to be, I'd be interested in hearing that as well. Always willing to learn. And at up the top of this door, they had a bee catcher, wasp catcher. Looks like it hadn't been emptied for a while. You can see how blue the sky was that day. It was a great day down there. I've never had a bad day down at this place. It's always worked out well. And here's my GPS animation. It has some waypoints marked, some features that we passed up. And it also has on the rest of the trail that I did the same day, but did the video last week on. So I hope everyone enjoys this one as well. Oh, here's I've got this marked in black, circling the area that we did in the video today, the pink and the yellow. That's inside the black marker is the trail we've done. And you can see the green is the new Lakeview Trail. I have not done that yet. I'm going to have to get down there and do that again next time. So until next time, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like it, hit the like button as well, and stay safe.